Here's 7 quick strategies that you've likely never heard of to increase the contact rate on your leads without making any more calls. Let me ask you, do you monitor your caller ID reputation? Are you calling the next most profitable lead that you have automatically? Do you even know how to do that? Do you have strategies in place to make sure more of your leads are picking up the phone? If you answer no to any of these questions, you have room to improve with your contact rates. And as you know, the more people you contact, the more presentations you make, and in turn, the more sales you make. Look, life insurance telesales, it's a contact sport. The thing is, a lot of life insurance telesales agents, they're not optimizing for their contacts. They're just logging into their dialers or calling down lists of leads without prioritizing, without doing any of the things necessary to get more people to pick up the phone. We're going to talk about 7 strategies today that will increase your contact rates immediately. You don't need to make more calls. Implement these and you will get more contacts, okay? Let's start with number 1. Triple tap and don't leave any voicemails. You'll get more callbacks. So what's a triple tap? It's when you call somebody 3 times in a row. You call them, they don't pick up, you call again. They don't pick up, you call again. And then you go on to the next lead, all right? It leaves this element of mystery. Now, we used to double tap, but triple tapping is much more effective.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lord. You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Now, the reason why we don't leave a voicemail is because life insurance is something that people put on the back burner. If you just kind of take a step back and understand the dynamics of purchasing life insurance, it's something people procrastinate on. They know they need it. They just take a lot of time to make that decision. And it's the same thing if you leave a voicemail. They're not going to return that phone call because it's something they put on the back burner. So you want to remain mysterious when you're calling. Your prospects will see 3 missed calls from you and think it's something important, and they will give you a call back. You then have them on the phone. That's the goal here. This is a contact sport. We need to get in contact with these people to make these presentations. If you leave voicemails all the time, you're wasting your time. It won't result in many callbacks. What will result in more callbacks is if your prospects see 3 missed calls from you and then they call you back. So everybody's going to triple tap now. Triple tap and don't leave voicemails. You can always leave voicemails later on in the contact sequence. The very beginning, your first few attempts, do not leave voicemails. Leave that mystery out there with all those missed calls. All right, number 2. And this is something that most agents don't do, and it's so important. You have got to monitor your caller ID reputation daily, all right? So what I mean by caller ID reputation, the main cell phone services out there, you have AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, right? They all have these risk scores tied to your phone number, and that's based on the amount of calls that you're making, the length of your calls that you're making, and an average length of call. There's a lot of these pieces that go into each of these algorithms where they can assign a risk score to you, and you could be flagged on your caller ID as scam likely or spam potential or flagged as a telemarketer. These are what you want to avoid. If you have that, your contact rates are terrible. Now, 38% of you watching this video are likely flagged as spam likely. Why do I say 38%? Is because we ran all of our phone numbers once we got access to the software that shows us who's flagged as spam and run it daily. And when we first ran that software, 38% of agents were flagged at one of those carriers, T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon. And that makes your pickup rates, if you're calling one of those carriers, plummet. I've read studies where it plummets over 85%. All right, and I'm sure you believe that as well. I know I wouldn't answer something if it came in saying potential spam or scam likely or anything like that. All right, it's that important. So daily monitoring and fixing the scam likely flag on your phone is something that you should do daily. It's something we do for all of our agents daily now at Digital BGA. They don't have to worry about that. We'll let them know and we'll remediate it. We'll fix it if they come up as spam likely. Now, if you want us to show you how to do this, how to monitor your phone number in real time daily so you don't have to, you'll get a report daily, you'll get an email. If you want to learn how to fix if you are marked as spam likely, leave a comment and we'll do a full video outlining all the software out there that can help you and how to fix it if you do get flagged as spam likely. So number 3, rotate your phone numbers every 80 dials. Now, this is something that we picked up talking to several call centers across the nation, very high volume call centers. And it's not something that any of the cell phone carriers will tell you. It's something that they've picked up by kind of combining information together. Do not make more than 80 phone calls from a single caller ID in a day. That's the best practice. Implement that. Rotate your numbers out. In your CRM, you should have 2 to 3 phone numbers that you rotate out daily. If you make less than 80 dials, you're just using one number. If you make more than 80 dials, you're going to use 2 numbers. If you make more than 160 dials, you're going to use your 3rd number. Rotate those out. You'll get more pickups just by people seeing different phone numbers calling in, right? They see you triple dialing a bunch of times from different numbers. They're going to pick up the phone. But really, you're protecting your reputation so you don't get flagged as spam. Now, the main reason that you get flagged as spam, like we talked about in number 2, is because of the high volume of calls, right? So there's a bunch of different ways you can get marked as spam. 1, somebody can mark you as spam by clicking a button on their cell phone. 2, again, the algorithms, and it's mostly based on the amount of calls you're making to their cell phone service. So if you're calling more than 80 AT&T cell phones in a day, they're gonna see that and they're gonna mark you as potential spam. So just don't make 80 calls in a day on a single caller ID. Spread it out. That's the best practice to keep your contact rates up. So let's move on to number 4, and that's to verify your phone numbers and emails on your web forms if you're generating your own leads. Doing this will reject a clearly bogus phone number and your contact rates will increase because you're getting less bogus phone numbers. When we implemented this on our lead forms years ago, we saw a 10% reduction in bogus leads. That's big. We use something called X-Verify to validate phone numbers and emails in real time on our lead forms. If you put in a bogus number, it won't let you submit the form. It'll ask you to put a different phone number in. And that's really helped us get better data on our leads, and our contact rates have gone up. Now, if you're thinking that's a little too much for you, just hire a developer from an overseas site to implement this. Just send them the API data for X-Verify or whatever service you want to use, and you can get it done for a couple $100 in your lead forms. It's worth it. It'll reduce your bogus rates and increase your contact rates. Now, on the flip side of this, if you're looking to increase your contact rate and you're working Facebook lead ads, which is something that's really popular right now, is where you generate a lead on Facebook. They don't leave Facebook. It's generated on Facebook. And what happens with those leads is that it's pre-filled. Now, when you're on Facebook, you get the name, phone, and email, but it's pre-filled in there from their profile on Facebook. So what happens is consumers see an ad, they click on it, and they see this form pop up with their information on there. They don't need to write anything down. They click submit, and typically within 5 to 10 seconds, they're back scrolling for their cat videos and their family videos or sports or whatever they're looking at on social media. So with that said, your contact rate is going to be low on those. If you do work Facebook leads, we highly recommend putting an extra step in there, whether it's sending it to a landing page where it has your branding on it and you can tell them a little bit about yourself and they actually have to type in the information. You're going to get much better response. Yes, the leads will be more expensive, but your contact rate will be better. The leads will be higher quality, and there's lots of different ways you can do that. Beyond sending your traffic to a landing page that's branded by you, well, they'll remember your name, that they'll take time to fill it out, and they'll remember what they're doing. You can also send them to a calendar link as well. I know many agents doing that successfully. Just doing the lead ads and getting that cheap lead, your contact rates will be low. You're going to put in a lot of effort to get just as much production and just as much ROI as if you were sending it to a landing page or to a calendar link. So that's a tip for you all that are just generating lead ads out there if you want to increase your contact rate. Tip number 5 to increase your contact rate, that is to call on Saturdays. If you can get one dialing session in every month on a Saturday, your contact rates will go up overall for that month. You're going to get a hold of people who you couldn't get a hold of during the week, especially those follow-ups who you presented to that you couldn't get on the phone. You've tried them 8, 10, 15 times and you couldn't get to them. We see agents all the time make a call on a Saturday and voila, you get them on the phone, you write the app. Calling on Saturdays is a huge hack for telesales agents. Make sure you get in at least one dialing session every single month on a Saturday. Even if you have to give up a Friday dialing session, so that you can get some time with your family on Friday in exchange for time on Saturday to make, a few hours worth of calls. That's all you need, guys. Just a few hours calling on a Saturday will make a big difference in your monthly P&L. You will get more contacts, you'll get more sales, you're going to get a hold of those people who you weren't able to get a hold of before. Make this a priority in your business. Schedule a Saturday calling session every single month. If you can get 2 in there, great. If you can get 3 in there, even better, but at least 1. It'll help your business and you'll make more contacts. And number 6 is speed to contact. It's incredibly important if you're working real-time leads to contact your leads within the first few minutes. Every minute, every hour, every day that goes by, your contact rates will plummet. If you're an agent taking real-time leads, you're paying for real-time leads, and you're not contacting your leads in the first hour or 2, let's say on average it takes you an hour or 2 to contact them, stop working real-time leads. Don't pay that premium for a real-time lead. You need to be on an inbound TV call, an inbound web call, age leads, maybe a pre-qualified callback, but you should not be taking real-time leads if you cannot get to your leads in time. Only work real-time leads if you're going to be calling them immediately when they come into your call queue. And that's another thing. Your new leads should be at the top of your call queue. And if you don't have a call queue, if you're calling your leads blindly, that's another issue that you have to address. But your new lead should appear at the top, and that should be the next lead you call once you're off the previous call. As soon as a new lead comes in, drop everything you have, give that lead a call. That is the most important opportunity you have in front of you. Speed to contact matters. Okay, and the last but not the least, number 7 is omni-channel outreach. So your automated texts and emails, they need to complement what you're doing with your dialing. If you make a phone call and you don't get somebody on the phone, the text shouldn't say, hey, this is Jeff Root with your life insurance, call me back. It should say, hey, I just tried to call. When's the best time to reach you? Something along those lines. They need to work together. So as you're making your dials, your texts and emails should be firing on every status change that goes out. If you're automating them, right? You have a text message that goes out to a brand new lead, and then it goes out again the next day and the next day, and it's not following your cadence of calls, that's not going to align. It's a terrible experience, okay? And the biggest reason you want texts and emails to go out is that some prospects just prefer to communicate via text or email at the very beginning. You will get more responsive. If someone opts out of a text or email that you send as part of your automations, that's okay. You can still keep calling them. They're just opting out of receiving communication via text or via email, depending on where they opted out. Your CRM should automatically opt them out from those communications if they reply stop to any of those automations. Now, this is something that should be automated. It's not something you should have to think about ever. As you're making dials, these texts and emails should be going out and complementing your dialing efforts. This has been a huge, huge piece of making outbound dialing work on life insurance leads, okay? So make sure you have that omni-channel outreach that aligns with your dialing cadence. All right, guys, those are the 7 strategies that we use at Digital BGA to increase our contacts. Now, remember, life insurance telesales is a contact sport. It all starts with making contact with your leads. Your presentation means nothing unless you get in contact with people, right? You're not going to make a sale unless you make more presentations. And to make more presentations, you got to get in contact with people. Implement these strategies, you'll be a more profitable agent. If you guys have any questions, any more suggestions on what you're doing to get in contact with more leads, we'd appreciate it if you drop them in the comments and we can start a discussion there.